Okay. Welcome, everybody. We're happy that you have joined us today in the Love Positive Woman campaign, one more event in this campaign. And we're having a special session today about Galentine's Day. So,
Yeah,
Florence, will you be my Galentine?
I am your Galentine, Erika. I didn't know about being a Galentine, and I think it's really nice and empowering. Previously, I've known about Valentine's Day or 14th of Feb being about Singles Awareness Day, but I like Galentine's.
I absolutely love Valentine's Day, and I think we really need it. There's so much issues that we face, and it's so important that we support each other.
Yes, absolutely. We girls have to stand up for each other always.
Definitely, we need to do more of that. It's important.
Yes, yes. Okay, so just as Erica said, we're excited to have you here and have you join us. Please post your questions on the comment box and someone will be in touch to respond to them. Should you have any personal issues you would like to talk about, definitely share your details with us and we will tell you how to get in touch with anyone who can be able to be supportive. So Erica and so I think I'll go first. My name is Florence Anam. I am a mother. No, that's really weird. I am a young, beautiful, feisty woman. And then I am a mother and I am a daughter and sister and everything else in between. I am also a woman living with HIV. And I am here to have very candid conversations within the backdrop of Love Positive Women and to join the very many other campaigns and activities going on this February for this campaign that is basically about showing love to oneself and to sisters and to other women living with HIV.
Definitely, Florence. And I'm so happy to be your friend and to always have you around the corner. It's so important that we really support each other. And Valentine's Day for me also was so new. And, it's so important that, we take things for granted. And many times we sometimes overlook how important and how necessary it is that as women we support each other. And so to introduce myself, my name is Erika Castellanos. I'm a transgender woman living with HIV, and I'm Latina. So that will explain I'm passionate, I'm vocal, I have all the myriads of feelings, and I'm entitled to feel all of it. And like that, I love to support my friends. It gives me joy to see my friends, other women grow beside me, grow par me, and grow beyond me. It's really important that we celebrate the victories of each other. But it's also important that we're there for each other when we need a shoulder to cry on, when we need some help, when we need an advice, or sometimes when we just want somebody to listen to us.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I wonder, Erica, though, in your life and in pursuit of happiness and career progression and all the work that you do and the advocacy that you do you feel that you have been supported by fellow women? Do you think there's been those moments that you find profound in how women have stood up for you or stood beside you?
I think definitely, I've had the experience of having a special woman and very great, amazing woman around me. And let me tell you one story of my life, how I became an advocate. I was diagnosed in 1995 and I was living in Mexico, in the southern part of Mexico. And at that time, it was really difficult to access services and medication. There were waiting lists. You know, you would wait for somebody to pass away and collect the medicines that they leave back, stuff like that. It was a very difficult time. And
Mhm.
the scenery when you go to the hospital room, in the waiting room, it was despair. It was people in wheelchairs with cancers, with tumors, in pain, with blindness, with
Mhm.
loss of weight. But So everybody was silent, almost like in depression, because the moment you are in there, you are seeing what will happen to you in the near future.
Exactly.
Remember, in
Yes.
1995, some doctors would even tell you, oh, you have 2 years to live, you have 6 months
Exactly.
to live.
Yeah, I
But
was told I have 6 months, 6 years actually.
but
Hmm.
there was this one woman in that room. She was a woman living with HIV. She had a child who was living with HIV. And this woman wouldn't stop laughing, but laughter like from the whole body, not just a smile. You know, when you
Yeah.
laugh with your whole body, that you stamp your feet and you clap your hands, and the laughter full of joy that is contagious. Every time she would be making jokes and jokes about HIV, even.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I saw how slowly those sad faces started to have smiles. And that's the moment I realized if there's something I want to do in my life, the bare minimum is to bring a smile in other people's faces. And it was
Exactly.
that woman who inspired me, who clicked that little fire in me to make me the advocate I am today. So, yes, I am very lucky that I have had this experience and have had supporting women.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I think I relate a lot to some of the things you're talking about. And as you're speaking, I'm reminded by how, and as you say, everyone was sick and looking, situations were bad. Many people were dying. The media, all the stories they would show, of course, were all these, hard and tough situations that were there then of people being very ill. And so, because I got tested in 2005 and 6, and so maybe not as far back, but still, for Kenya, where I'm from, it was still a difficult time, and stigma was crazy tough at that time. And many people were dying just because, not because they were ill or anything, but because of stigma and how that made them, excluded, feeling unloved. And so I was a young woman, and this at my test, this woman tells me I could, if you eat well and you do as we tell you, you could be there for about 6 years. And so I left that place wondering, I'd just come out of college, so what will I do for the next 6 years so that then I leave my mark in the world? And because I really wanted to leave something to the world, I felt like my parents, everyone around me had all these dreams for me, and then now they will just go because of a choice I made, so in the thought process of thinking about that, so I knew in 6 years I will not be able to have gotten that job or had that big car, the things that in your 20s you think are the important things that define your legacy, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
so I sat there and I told myself, I may not have the car or the house or the what, but if I just remain in even 100 people's hearts, that would be enough for me, because then somewhere along their lives, they will keep talking about me, and that would be enough. Like, oh my God, Florence did this and Florence did that. And so that has really pushed me. And in 2008, I started this very interesting support group of young people like me. We had so many questions, nowhere to go. And so we've grown over time. We've seen each other through fears, through starting treatment, because back then not everybody was starting treatment, through marriages and divorces and second marriages for some people, children. So the whole works. And this group of sisters have become a very, very important part of my life. And they so I'm open and public, half of them are not. And for very many of them, that little group we have is the only place they can, in their words, be themselves. So to see us move from this little group of very either angry people at the time or scared, or there were people who could not even look up because of the shame we were carrying at the time, to this, people who psych themselves and talk to each other over the periods of our lives, has been really nice. And so I love sisterhood for what it can do in terms of building someone. Yeah.
Definitely. And you know what that brings to mind is that Galentine, it might be something fairly new, but
Yeah.
we, women living with HIV, we have been doing this shit forever.
I
Like,
know,
this is
right?
how we have survived. This is how,
Yeah.
when I started taking treatment, I had to take 18 huge tablets 3 times a day. And because it's donated medication, you cannot waste it. So you don't dare vomit it. I had
Yeah.
a sister, I had a friend beside my bed with a bucket. If it comes up, I will rinse it for you and give you back again because I
Oh,
want you alive.
wow.
I want you to
Yeah.
survive.
Yeah.
We've been doing this. It's us supporting each other forever. So,
Exactly.
we might have just invented Galentine ourselves
Oh, I think we've been doing Galentines for a while, and not necessarily for February. I think
for
for
every day.
women and girls living with HIV, because I guess we talk more, and there's some of those intimate stuff and intimate questions that are really, really direct, that you cannot ask your sometimes health provider, for
No,
example.
no.
I mean, I feel like because there was a list back then of don't do this and don't do that, and the only thing you were supposed to do was wear a condom. So you
Yeah,
have all these questions in between, and there's no one to discuss them with. And so I remember this conversation back then of us, most of us in like our 25 and 26, and going like, so when we get married, how will we have babies? But how do we even actually get pregnant without,
yeah,
because we like, so if we don't want to disclose what happens, so if we want to disclose, must we date guys who are positive? What if you met someone who isn't? Because some of them were not being very open with, they're not publicly open. So you will get asked out by someone whose status you may not know, by the way.
exactly.
So,
And
so, so what do you do in those moments? So it's those intimate, and it's also being vulnerable around each other. It's not something that many people do. And it goes beyond just, I think, for us and in our circles, whether be it for work. And this is the thing I like about the work that we do, is that it spills into the work, because we meet along corridors and we meet along and we have joined things that we are passionate about. Then it becomes so personal as well in how your well-being is. So it's not just about a day, it's about our way of life. Yeah.
exactly. It's definitely, and I'm so glad that we've both had the positive experience of, you know, going through our process with amazing women who gave us support, who we can talk to, who listened to us, who were there for us, and who continue to be there for us until today. But I want to talk straightforward today. That's not always the case.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, sometimes, I think we as women, we need to support each other and big up each other way more.
Yes.
Because there's many times I've been in a room and a woman is leading or presiding or there in the stage, and the comments are, look, her shoes doesn't match her dress. Look, her hair is not well done. Why don't we just be happy that it's a woman in leadership, that it's a
Exactly.
woman leading, that we have a woman in special places, taking decisions, taking leadership roles? We tend to be this, and it's like a human thing, we tend to look at the bad thing. It's easy, but when you think about the good qualities of people, sometimes it takes you a minute or two. But that's important when you have sisterhood and you have that confidence to talk to each other. And you said something very important, allowing yourself to show that you're vulnerable, because that creates an open gate.
Absolutely. I think to be weak around your fellow women is important. And I think also to be that, you have to have found within your network or your sisterhood or whatever space, even if it's one person, that reality that you will never be judged, you will be accepted for who you are, and you feel safe and comfortable. But this is what I always say. I agree with you that often we judge each other too harshly.
Yeah,
Um, I have two ways of looking at this. Relationships of whatever kind, at work, at home, with our parents, with our kids, even who we carried and gave birth to, or went and found ways to bring into our lives, in case it's adoption or any other way you have a child. We have moments where we hate each other, like, I can't stand you. I have moments where I wonder, how did I give birth to this person? Who are they? Are they really part of me? And then I have moments where I'm like, oh wow, that is me. That is part of me, you know. So I think that there's a way that we have to sort of normalize that not every relationship needs to be okay and to be fine, and stop struggling to make it that way, and to acknowledge that within this period we are not aligned, and I'm not getting you, you're not getting me, and move away from it in a way that we can always come back to our friendship or come back to whatever relationship we have. And I think because we are emotional as women and stuff, half the time we miss out on that because we go way overboard in trying to suppress emotions and trying to suppress these realities that we have to be a certain way, and then it explodes, you know what I mean? And we go beyond, and we cannot, take back friendships. But to say what you're saying, I think we don't say the positive sides enough. We don't celebrate each other enough.
Yes.
We celebrate we celebrate each other in public fora sometimes, maybe, but it's also sometimes a select few. But also we celebrate things that conform to a certain idea of what needs to be celebrated. But remember, Erika, for you and I, just the fact that we are here breathing today is celebration itself.
Of course. Amen to that.
Yeah, that is it. It does not mean that I have to have this or that, just that we are here today. That is it. And for some people, the celebration is a milestone, like just getting an assignment done. That's it. Waking up to go for a run. Heck, being able to go on that date, that is celebration itself. And so I think we need to find moments of celebrating each other and supporting each other through every aspect, and not just waiting for when I have a PhD or when I have this or when I have that. Yeah,
definitely. And I think, one of the things, one of the biggest barriers that we have that don't allow us to be vulnerable, that don't allow us to express our emotions, that don't allow us to be who we are, is because in the society we live in a society that has been designed by men, which is led by men, and it's a completely patriarchal society. Let me give you a very foolish example how we inhibit ourselves and how we play in roles, that we think, oh, women should not do that. And what will people say? I went this morning to the supermarket. I went walking. It's icy cold. I was very careful with walking. On the return, I'm holding a bag on my back, a bag on my hand with groceries. I started to feel I had pants on. That is good. I started to feel my panty is dropping. It's an old panty. we have all had an experience of the panty dropping. And
yes.
And the thing is, like, me and you can talk about it, but many women will say, no, that has never happened to me.
Yeah.
I had the urge to put my hand and pull up my panty, but I was too aware. What will people say? A woman should not do that. People will look at me. And then as I walk a little bit forward, I said, wait, would a man be thinking about what people will say? You see how many times a man checks if he still has his balls attached to his body?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They always, they don't care what people say, know?
Yeah.
So why should we be so restricted of what we can do, of what we can say, of how we can act? Society, men telling us how to behave, what to say, what to do, what to wear, where to go, how many children to have. That is bullshit, and that needs to stop. And you know who will stop it? Us. When we talk to each other, when we support each other, we need to put a stop to this system.
I think we should. And I think we men may actually, I say this to my friends a lot, men may put these narratives or these situations, and the patriarchal society may have them, but I think we women sometimes propagate these things, because I'm the one who's going, I mean, in any situation, even on social media, you will see something happens, it's the women that do the most attacking, and you're like, wow, how is this even possible? The whole situation of how of frowning upon agency, right? Yes, maybe, not maybe, the patriarchal system, of course, did not give women any agency. But the people who are going to talk about the woman who wakes up and say, I have my agency and I'm going to use it and I'm going to make my decision around what to wear, how I will operate and do my stuff, how many children and how I will have them, etc., will be women. And so I think if we, as you say, we have an opportunity to change narratives and to change these situations. And when a situation, occurs in which another sister or another woman or girl is being, questioned on things that seemingly shouldn't be things they're questioned about, there is a pool of sisters standing up and going like, back off, and back off.
And
I
that's what
think
we should do.
that would be helpful to really build on the sisterhood and to build confidence around relationships. But
Definitely.
also, I just remembered there's this other thing that I like hearing a lot, and I wonder where that came from. Women are their own worst enemies. And I mean, it's like we sum up everything with that. Like women cannot even fight in peace, man. Even dogs fight. Everyone, every relationship, you have to fight and make up.
Yeah.
It's the joy of building around relationships. But we can't. Oh, we are our worst enemies. And so we walk around with this. I don't like that narrative. I don't think we are our worst enemies. I think we question,
Definitely not.
we push, we judge a little too harshly. But there are things we can change. But I do not think women, if we showed as much evidence and stories and realities of women pulling each other up, we would be shocked. It is
And I
not
think,
women being enemies.
and I think definitely, where it will start with the understanding that all women are different.
Exactly.
We should embrace that difference. It is that difference that make us strong.
Strong.
It doesn't make us weak. We tend, and society tends to have like this harsh judgment on women. Women need to be perfect, the perfect housewife that works, that cleans the house, that leads an organization, that is the president. But you cannot make a single mistake. One little mistake you make, they forget everything good you have made in your entire life. And that's because they want to judge us like if we're perfect. And people need to understand that women are different and we are as varied as everything else in this universe, as the plants, as the animals. We have differences. Some of us like to sing, some of us can't sing. For the sake of God, if I sing, the water stops in my house and the children run away. So,
Yeah.
we don't have to have all the skills, but we
No.
do have the skills. And the way we build each other is because we build it in each other's skills. So if I can cook, but I cannot wash dishes, yeah, I will ask for help. Yes, there's gonna be
Exactly.
somebody else who will fill that gap. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
how it should be. Build on each other's
Exactly.
strengths.
Yeah. And I tell people, be shameless in asking for help because we cannot do everything. We have tried, some of us. So I say to the younger women, we have tried. You will burn out, you will make mistakes, and you will be judged harshly for it. So be shameless in asking for help. And I agree that we need to embrace our imperfections a bit more. I like, though, I must say that the generation behind us, millennials maybe, and the generation after, are giving voice to some of these things. I go online and see a lot of conversations that are real about motherhood, about giving birth and how bad it is, or how people feel afterwards. We've been made to not even voice. My generation, we could not even voice how you
No,
feel.
no,
You're
no, no.
supposed to love pregnancy. You're supposed to love your child
That
throughout,
should be
even if
your
your
goal in life.
life is yeah. So there's this series on YouTube, if you can be able to see it. It's funded by a Dutch organization. It's called Unmothering the Woman. And I was following through that and I was having my mom watch it. And I'm like, I love that we can have these conversations now that begin to unpack these little narratives that have boxed us for years, but also make us have these conversations and go like, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Even if we don't say that out loud, And we become a little bit more tolerant, because then we can understand their days. You wake up and you do not, like, there are moments you really wish you didn't have your child when you had them, or you feel like it set you back, and you can say that without people looking at you funny, or talk about the period pains and the drama you have, and the, you know, the whole experience with sort of having your stomach being a knot for days, and no one is going to frown about stuff like that.
Exactly. And why should anyone?
Yeah, and I like that we can talk about these things now. And I think we are, it means we are sort of on some way in a good space to keep doing what we do, where we normalize some of these conversations so more women can be able to seek help and not suffer alone. Yeah.
Definitely. I am happy these conversations are going on and times are changing, things are changing. You know, it's if my mother would watch something like that, she would probably faint. You know, she would probably faint and then get up and get her rosary and pray, because she was brought up in a culture that women are supposed to be mothers,
Yes.
foremost and for all. You know,
Yeah.
even if they had them husband that beats them up or cheats with 10 other women, they stay there because of the children. The ultimate sacrifice of the mother. I have heard that in so many times in my culture.
Yeah.
And you know that is bullshit. That was men who put these ideas on people to control women. And the changes that are we seeing now, it is because of women that it is changing. Because we're speaking up,
Exactly.
because we're listening to each other, because we're supporting each other, and because we are going forward.
Absolutely. Which is what I love about Galentines and Love Positive Women, which gives us a whole lot of diverse ways of showing that love to each other. Yeah. And
Definitely.
as you say, as women speak about these things, then it becomes, you know, easy to change the narratives that we've been having.
And you know, you don't have to be on each other's, knocking on each other's house every day, asking for a
No,
cup of coffee.
no.
Florence and I, we live a continent apart. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you don't show support, you don't show love. Time, distance is never a problem. It should never be a
No,
problem. So, you
no,
know,
yeah. I think just to add on that, I recently discovered something that I wish I knew in my. How I keep discovering things now, and I ask my mother, like, how am I knowing this now? I mean, I can't believe I'm knowing this now. I should have known this when I was in my teenage years. So one of the things is how to be intentional about the things that you do. So for example, what friendships do you have? What relationships are you building? And be intentional about that. And I tell that to my children all the time. If you cannot feel pain for the people around you, then they will not ever feel the need to feel pain for you. And you don't have to like feel pain. What I mean is just be there in whatever way you can be.
empathy.
And sometimes I say, because life has made it so that it's easy to replace affection and reliability and being there for people with money. Oh, you have this problem, take this money, I will wire you this money. What would you do and be for your friends if you removed money out of the box, if you removed money out of the list of things you needed to do? So then you would bring your whole of self to your relationships. And if you really do that, then you should be able to, chances are it will be very few, highly quality, and you would really enjoy these moments. And I wish I knew that earlier, because over time you surround yourself with a lot. And I mean, when you're younger, you think the more people I have, I mean, look at how we're excited about the likes on Facebook and Instagram when we post stuff. You know, like the more people, the better. But over time, I've realized it's not the more, it's the quality that I get to spend, and the fact that and as you say, when you're doing that, you don't have to do a lot of stuff. You don't have to go to everyone's house every day, but you will really know what's happening in each one's life every time. Yeah.
Definitely. And that's why it is important, you know, to make sure that you show your support, that you show your friends, that you show your sister you're there for her. You don't have
Yeah.
to be there every day. But
Yeah.
you know, the fact I have some friends that maybe I don't talk to them in 4 5 days, but I know that if I ever need to talk to someone, The minute I ask, they will be there for me. And that's what it is about. It's not that you're on call 24/7. It's that
No.
you will be there to support.
Can I ask, do you feel like sometimes, I don't know about you, but you have like compartments? I feel like I have compartments of friends for different things. Because they're like so many sometimes. So I'm thinking, these are my friends for this kind of support. And I know very well that they will not. So like they're my friends that I would never go partying with. That we don't get each other. The things they find fun are the things I don't find fun. The things I find fun. So my partying friends would completely be different from, say, the friends that I probably, want to plan with. I have accountability friends. We make these 5-year plans and we follow each other across the 5 years. So that's another set of friends. Do you have that? Like,
Definitely. I think it's very important that we know our friends. Being friends
yeah,
is also knowing your friends. And you don't want to impose what they don't like or they don't
I
do.
know.
It's
Yeah,
finding those things in which both of you find joy together and
yeah,
that you can support each other too, because
yeah.
it's also knowing the right moment. Because if you know a friend is going through a difficult situation, perhaps it's not the best moment to come and tell them of your problems that you're going through.
Absolutely.
It's,
Yeah.
it's, it's finding the correct moment, it's the balance. But yes, we all have different kinds of friends. And that goes back to what we were talking before, that we are all different. And
Yes.
recognizing, so we each of us have our strengths, and many times it's easy to talk about our weakness. Oh, she can't clean. Oh, she can't cook. Oh, she can't write. Oh, she can't do math. Easy. But let's say that, oh, she is smart. Oh, she is a leader. Oh, she is a very honest. She is hardworking. Let's look at those positive words and build on those strengths. If we put our close friends, our Galentines together, and we put all those strengths together, we have magic.
Of course we do, because then we'll realize we all have that unique something that we bring to each other's lives that then the other person doesn't need to struggle to do. Yeah. So,
Uh, Florence, it's been a pleasure
it
to
has
have
been.
you here today for my Galentine.
I know. And I don't know what it is you're going to be doing, but I want to know about it. On so Valentine's Day is on Monday. No, on Sunday.
The
Yes.
Saturday.
I must say this. I said I would love to tell you this. I think I sort of write a little bit on your Facebook sometimes when I see it, but you inspire me with your cooking. I will not lie to you. Like I see how you grow stuff. So there's the gardening part where you grow your food and it moves from it was a seed and then it was a leaf and then it was the whole product and then you take it to your kitchen and you make food with it. I follow that stuff every day. You have no idea. So I needed to say
Darling, thank you.
that.
When you when you come and visit, I will bring you and I'll cook for you. I love, Latina mamas.
Okay.
We show love through food. We feed
Oh,
people.
oh, wow. Okay. When I'm there, then definitely I have to
I will
eat
cook
all
for
this
you.
stuff that I keep seeing you post on Sundays most of the time. So I
Yes,
know I have been
yes,
seeing
of
and
course.
looking. Yes.
Great. So thank you very much, Florence. It's been a pleasure having you here and talking and a little bit, away from all this hectic world that is going around us at the moment. So everybody, happy Valentine's Day
Happy Galentine's Day and find that sister and find that girl and find that woman you love and build them up.
and love positive woman.
Love positive women. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.